Almost all problems disappear if one can attain self-mastery. And self-mastery is not just about the external world, it's also about the internal world, right? And if you have still self-doubts or you are stuck, it's because you have not achieved the next level of self-mastery. By mastering yourself, you can finally take control of your life. You can get whatever you want, okay? In this video, I will talk about mastering overall, and it's always related to self-mastery, okay? So, first of all, I want to say that I observed that nowadays, I think especially men, they have a lot of this shiny object syndrome. And that means that one jumps, so the shiny objects describe someone who jumps from one shiny thing to the next one. And with this, it's hard to attain self-mastery and mastery overall. Okay. And I had this as well. And in my case, it was like that I was like getting very impatient. I was getting very, very impatient when I didn't get what I wanted. And I was feeling really bad. I was feeling like not good enough. And this is important to be able at least to attain self-mastery or come close to that. It's first necessary to look whether you have this shiny object syndrome. What actually just means that it's hard for you to stay consistent. That's all, okay? And just you need to observe the patterns. How do you feel and think when you do you jump off often of things, and why what is the intention? Is it really that it was not worth to strive for that, right? Like if you look back in the past and you would have stayed on the things, right, would you have now better results, right? Would your life be better? Or is it really that these things won't brought you anything, okay, that you were just trying out something? So stopping something doesn't have to be bad, it depends on the intention. Okay, so you need to observe what are your thoughts, what are your beliefs, what are your beliefs. Very often there's like craving for a feeling of high, and when it doesn't work out, then one feels boredom, like a feeling of boredom, like, I don't know, does it really bring anything? It's necessary, instead of getting led by these emotions, like to observe them. Observe them and stay long on purpose and see the emotional reaction that occurs. This is your old self trying to fuck you up, okay? Okay, it tries to recreate your past. But by you observing this reaction, not giving in, right? Looking for your beliefs, questioning them. Is it really true? Do I have now to stop? Is boredom bad? Who said this? Who said this? Right? By looking at these patterns, you can look where they come from, right? You can question these beliefs that they are not true. And the shiny object syndrome starts to get less by simply staying aware and observing that instead of giving in. Okay? Comment below if you have questions or anything like that, right? If you want something more specific. And yeah, so the other things you need to understand, self-mastery starts with self-awareness, self-understanding. And a lot of what leads towards that is when we are willing to get more knowledge and prepare ourselves, right? It's by having a mentor, or also it can be to listening to podcasts or YouTube videos or reading books, right? By doing that, right, we attain knowledge, and this can improve your self-understanding. The more you understand yourself, the more you can influence yourself and the world, right? The greater your impact. And why does it play a role? I mean, I make videos about manifestation because many people, they hope nowadays they get one little thing, right? Or one little trick, and boom, and you'll become a multimillionaire, right? But most often it doesn't work that way, right? So it's necessary to master oneself so that you can gain everything, you can also keep everything, rather than relying just on poor luck, right? Or just a cheap trick. Many people in the manifestation space don't want to hear that, right? But it's the truth. So rather than just relying on luck or cheap tricks, it's important to improve your self-understanding, your self-awareness through reading books, through gaining mentor. Proximity is power. The closer you are to people that are like you or already on the way who you want to be, the more this energy influences you and your life gets boosted. You will attain faster self-mastery. You will manifest faster what you really want to manifest. Okay? So this is one important thing. And the second thing is, like, I call it refinement. Refinement or self-reflection. So for example, at the end of the day, I ask myself, what were the wins and what can I improve? Right? And also I ask myself, okay, I gave myself like a rating. Okay, how did I came closer to my ideal self? What is the rating from 1 to 10 to my ideal self? Sometimes I make notes, right? Let's say it was 8 out of 10. Then I make notes what was good and short, or what I can improve to come closer to my ideal self, right? And the same after the week or after the month, you can make this again a self-reflection, right? You look again, okay, what went well? What can you improve? Okay? Through these little things, you will make tiny shifts and they have a huge impact in the long term, right? By reflecting on yourself, you become more self-aware. Are you still on the right path, right? You start to understand yourself better. Like I said, self-mastery and master of roles all about self-understanding, understanding your inner self and general your behavior patterns, right? What is happening? Are you coming closer at all to your goals, right? To your ideal self? This is one important thing. And another thing I want to talk about, it's important, of course, to take the effort, but there need to be also a balance of like effort and surrender. So a time like when you put in the effort or when you do something about it, then a time when you just relax. Your system needs to relax, and usually when you are actually tired or when you're just by yourself or under the shower, this is when the ideas later come in. This is when your subconscious proceeds everything. It's also when you sleep, when everything gets proceed. So if you're constantly just turned on, you think you are productive, but actually it's not that productive. So everything sinks in when you actually relax, when you spend time with your friends, or when you go for a walk on the beach or the forest, right? So it's important to also step away from all these things. If you're already putting a lot of effort, there need to be a balance between these two, right? To put on the effort and do more if you're already very often relaxed, right? If you already have a lot of fun and focus, just you have time for yourself, you sleep a lot. It's also necessary to put in the effort, but also know how to step aside and turn that off and stop thinking about these things, right? And yeah, this is when your subconscious can proceed all of that, and this is when you attain then insights about the next steps usually, or you can just relax and then do again more, right? Because we are not robots. Yeah. And the last thing that I want to say about self-mastery is it's necessary to do at least 1 or 2 times per year deep immersion. A deep immersion. A deep immersion is where literally multiple days in this atmosphere where it's only about this topic that you want to master, like finances or health. So it can be at a workshop, it can be that you immerse yourself. It's better to do it with other people and learn from other masters, right? So what does deep immersion bring? Deep immersion allows you and it accelerates, it speeds up your success, right? Your self-mastery. It has way higher impact on how you learn things if you are completely immersed in this atmosphere and you have put away all these distractions, right? You are only focusing on these things, on this topic. It can be like health or finances, for example, right? And I think especially for men it's important because, like I said, a lot of people have noticed this shiny object syndrome, right? So you give yourself to this deep immersion, right? And it accelerates everything because you then have you are fully immersed only in this knowledge, right? Imagine how long you will take without that to learn that, without full immersion. You will have to repeat it day by day by day by day, right? You have to do it all by yourself. But if you do something like that, boom, you can learn a couple of days something that you would have learned in a couple of months. Okay? And of course, repetition is still important. I talked about at the start of the video about shiny object syndrome. This stops one usually from just mastering the mundane work sometimes, right? Doing the mundane work sometimes, or work that seems mundane, seems boring, right? And yeah, repetition is the mother of skill, like Tony Robbins says. So repetition is important as well, of course, and then combined with refinement. So at the end, I will sum it up. It's about, first of all, observe whether you have shiny object syndrome. Why do you jump off on things if you jump off? What is the reason for that, right? Second thing is, I think I said refinement, reflection, right? The refinement, reflection. The third is like a balance between effort and surrender. And the fourth is deep immersion. Deep immersion that accelerates and boosts your self-mastery level, your mastery level, because you can learn something in a couple of days what you will have needed for a couple of months, right? And through this, you can manifest what you want. Yeah. Comment below if you have questions or something else that came up. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed yet. And see ya. Bye-bye.